So it came out earlier today that the Green Bay Packers are using one of their 30 pre-draft in-house visits with tight end Darnell Washington from Georgia. He posted a story on his Instagram earlier today showing that he was in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I, for one, am a huge fan of Darnell Washington, and tight end has been a very hot topic as of late for the Green Bay Packers. After losing Robert Tonyan to the Chicago Bears, it came out that he was only signed for $2.65 million over 1 year, so it's clear the Packers are trying to go a different route in tight end and kind of rebuild that tight end room. They currently have 2 tight ends on the roster that have had some NFL snaps in Josiah DeGuara, and they also re-signed Tyler Davis, but Tyler Davis is more of that special team re-signing. A lot of people do believe in Josiah DeGuara, but he's more of that H-back role type of tight end, and I think the Packers need to address the tight end room regardless by drafting multiple guys or as well as signing a free agent. And I do believe Darnell Washington from Georgia would be an excellent start to start rebuilding that tight end room in this year's draft. Darnell Washington is currently in that top 4 group of tight ends with Michael Mayer, Dalton Kincaid, Luke Musgrave, and you could even include Sam Laporta in that group as well. And in my opinion, he is by far the most interesting prospect at tight end because he only has 45 receptions in his career at Georgia, but what you're more looking at is his run and pass blocking ability and the fact that he's 6'7", 270 pounds, and can move very, very quickly for that frame. Right now, Washington looks like he'll fall right into the second round. There's kind of a wide variety of where he's ranked on a lot of people's draft boards. He's as high as 24 on Bleacher Report and as low as 71 on PFF. I'll show the graph up here on the screen here. So we see Countdown, he's 25. Draft Buzz, he's 29. Draft Net, he's ranked 31. MDDB, he's 33. Walter Football, he's 34. Athletic, he's 41. Sports News, 49. ESPN, 51. And of course, like I said, PFF, 71. So my best guess is he does fall right around in the second round. He could very well go in the back end of the first round, but I think Dalton Kincaid or Michael Mayer will be the first 2 tight ends off the board, and I think Darnell Washington will go right in that sweet spot in the second round where the Green Bay Packers do own the 45th pick, and if the trade for Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets may include pick 43, they could certainly use one of those 2 second-round picks on Darnell Washington, who they've had visiting there this morning. I wanted to go over his strengths and weaknesses real quick as for anyone who doesn't really know much about Darnell Washington and why I think he would be just a wonderful draft selection there in the second round for the Packers. Washington is a huge tight end, standing 6'7" and weighing in at 270 pounds, who has the power and drive blocking ability of a tackle. As a blocker, Washington is elite. He stands out as elite as a run blocker, and you could easily mistake him for a seasoned pulling guard. As a pass blocker, he's outstanding and easily handles blitzing linebackers on the edge. In the 72 instances when he was used strictly in pass protection, he didn't give up a single pressure. Elite catch radius and has impressive soft, strong hands to help pull down errant passes. He's a powerful open field runner with agility and surprising quickness and speed given his size. Knee bend and technique are good, and Washington shows decent power when his hands hit the target. His long arms allow him to play bigger, even bigger than his size, which is scary, and he has a frame that can even carry more weight. He's a coordinated hands catcher who does a nice job digging out low throws. He's very good with the ball in his hands, a violent runner after the catch, and often able to fend off defenders with a straight arm. Washington has a tapered build and strong hands, ripping the ball back with ease when defensive backs manage to get a hold of it. He's very good in contested catch situations, using his frame effectively to make plays facing the quarterback. He's also shown a knack for high pointing the ball, consistently out-muscling defensive backs. And then going over his weaknesses real quick, not many of them compared to the pros. Washington seems comfortable in traffic to the point where he doesn't make the effort to create much separation. He only has average long speed, doesn't have a second gear, and certainly won't threaten the top of the defense. Was never really involved in the Bulldogs offense as a receiver to a great extent, was only targeted 45 times in 3 years of play. Because his top speed is decent, not great, he doesn't warrant safety help over the top and will only be regarded as a short-range threat. And funny enough, as we see here as well, his player comparison is none other than Mercedes Lewis. And we don't even know if Mercedes Lewis is going to be back on the Packers. I'd be willing to bet the moment Aaron Rodgers gets traded to the Jets, they go ahead and sign Mercedes Lewis and add him to that roster. Then if we go ahead and take a look at his RAS score, which we know the Packers love drafting their athletes, we see here he has a 9.87 RAS score, 6'6.5", 264 pounds, 21 bench reps. So the composite size grade, he got elite. Composite speed grade, he got great with a 4.64 40, which I think is just still crazy considering he's 6'6.5". A good 20-yard split, a good 10-yard split. Good shuttle of 4.08. The only thing he really graded poorly in was vertical with 31 inches, but I mean, the dude's 6'6" and a half, so he doesn't need to have a crazy vertical to high point some footballs, and a broad jump of 10 foot 2 inches. And as it said in the weaknesses, the major concern here with Darnell Washington, I mean, obviously we know what he is. He's a 6'7", super athletic tight end for that frame, an excellent blocker, but we really haven't seen the production as a receiving tight end over his career at Georgia. If we bring up his stats here on PFF, he had an 85.7 grade in 2022, but as we see here, only 28 receptions for 454 yards, which really isn't that bad considering how many other options the Georgia offense has. And then last year, 10 receptions for 154 yards. But if we look over to the right there, we see a receiving grade of 78.3, 1.77 yards per route run, and a really nice run blocking grade of 81.3. Not to mention he's very sure-handed. We see only 2 drops there in the 28 receptions he had last year. Now, I know a lot of people are against drafting tight ends highly, but if Darnell Washington's there at either pick 43, if the Packers end up getting that pick, or pick 45, I would be ecstatic with that draft selection at one of those spots, grabbing a tight end. He will not fall to round 3. Plus, it's the Green Bay Packers. Do we really want them to draft another tight end in the 3rd round? That just overall has bad juju. So I think if they're going to get Darnell Washington, because one, he wouldn't fall to the 3rd round in my opinion, they got to get him at either 45, or if they pick up, of course, pick 43. I want to hear your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. I know when I do my mock drafts, I've drafted him a few times, and a lot of people really like Darnell Washington, but I also know there's some people that are saying, you know, like, you shouldn't draft a tight end that high. The dude doesn't have that much production. Is it really worth it to grab a guy like that in the 2nd round? Just let me know down in the comments below. But nonetheless, the Packers are meeting with them, so they seemingly are very interested in Darnell Washington. I am too. I think it would be a great selection. The Packers, like I said, need to rebuild that tight end room. But that about does it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like down below. But I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Pack Go.